Hey everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to EA Tetragrammaton, where we are playing This is turn 55. Let's jump into things. Okay, so potentially a very, very big turn for us. We'll go through the little stuff and see what happens when we hit the battles. The High Priest of the Sun has claimed the Throne of Air in the name of Ozzy Osbourne, so this should be Mictlin claiming the Throne of Air. We've got an Auspex, which found nothing, a Dark Knowledge, which found nothing. Nazar II has cast Teleport. And if you're quick on the eye, you'll see a number of different things immediately, right? So we see there's a battle where Lanka is attacking Yomi, in Yomi. There's a battle where Yomi is attacking us in Delka, and then there's a battle where we are attacking the Fortress of Trackless Winds. So, we do not get our big battle. So let's check out some stuff. We'll watch the battle in Yomi with Lanka v Yomi real quick. So Lanka has moved back onto Yomi's capital with a pretty fierce force. This is a scary force, bigger than their previous one. With more magic, more thugs. Oof, these are some dangerous thugs. The flesh eaters keep them berserk, right? They've got a lot of attacks coming out. They will rip through someone, just rip through them. The only thing about these thugs is they're not super duper defensive, but I believe the Bless helps cover a fair amount of that. We've got a bunch of Raktapadas in the back. Not a crazy amount, but a handy amount. And I think that's mostly it. A Raksharaja in the back that looks like it's more of a caster. Another Raksharaja, more of a caster leader. Okay, and then on the other side, right, we've just got a big old chunk of what looks to be like province defense, and maybe a little bit of a patroller. So, most of Yomi's forces are over with us. This is mostly just their cap, PD. So, we've got a Sabbath going up. We've got some wooden warriors coming out. Legions of Steel, blessings, more legions of steel, more wooden warriors. We've got some hordes of skeletons coming out from this guy, not this guy, but this guy over here has got a skull staff. A little bit ballsy, right? You see all these wolves. If this was Yomi's big army, or just had a few more Oni Shugos in it, there could be a lot more wolves here, and these wolves could circle around or overpower and get at this. This Raksharaja would probably be fine, but this Yogini could get popped with that skull staff. So the forces move forward. We've still got a bunch of basic spells, mist forms, blessings, holy avengers, flights. Our Raksharaja thugs back here, they gonna get scary. Very scary. Once they get back, okay, so their Holy Avengers are coming up. We've got more flights, blessings back here. Now, I will say this. Oh, okay. He's got them on cast, it looks like. Or, oh, there they go. Strange. See, they went Gift of Flight, but he's not. They didn't get themselves? Oh, he's flying. This one isn't flying. And this one isn't flying. Strange. This one's a Communion Master. Okay, so only the one, and I could have sworn that they were casting flights as well. Only the one actually flew. The others are just... Oh, wow, he came down right where they were anyways. That's kind of funny. Oh, right. Let's check their, So yeah, they're... The thugs themselves, right? Because his thugs are sacred. They get a lot of bonuses out of his kind of really defensive bless. So shock resistance, fire resistance, defense skill 2, reinvigoration, regeneration, strength, blood surge. So while the majority of their gear is very offensive focused, they have a lot of resistances and things like that through their bless. So that's good. That makes them very, very killy. Like they could demolish a super combatant, but they're a little bit more vulnerable to getting surrounded or fatigued and killed themselves. They've got Reinvig 7 though, actually, thanks to the boots of reinvigoration that I sent him. Pretty cool though. Yeah, this is a pretty scary force. I think, in the grand scheme of things, I think my force is actually a little scarier. I think his bless is kind of crazy, but at the end of the day, I think without magic weapons, well, no, I think it would matter with magic weapons because so we have basically Fog Warriors is going to be a big deal, but he's going to hit hard enough to pop Fog Warriors. So it won't be as big of a deal as it could be. And I think his Raksharajas are scary enough that that they become a problem. Alternatively, though, he doesn't have poison resistance, but with the regeneration and the high hit points, the poison is kind of going to be negated. But you can also look at that in the flip side of, like, rather than just negating the poison, what we're doing is negating the regeneration, right? Is that concept. So there's a silver lining to it. All right, so very cool, very good job. Yomi is on top, or Lanka is on top of Yomi, probably going to win. Or probably going to pop that fort. Okay. Obviously, Yomi has attacked in Delka. This is their main force. If we watch the battle, it is a pretty immense just cluster. It doesn't seem like he's really doing a lot of specific things. They're all just kind of like thrown about. There's a bunch of Blood Guard mixed in here. They are starving, though. And they have homesickness, so don't know how much longer they're going to be effective. We've got guys in the back, Onishugos, Dione, Skeletal Body, Blessings, Temper Flesh. We've actually got some werewolves back here, so that's kind of interesting. None of them are really kitted out or anything like that. We've got a Mirror Image Boy. So it looks like... we've got Fire Shield, so that's a big... Oh, no, he's got a Charcoal Shield. So this guy is scary. With his Charcoal Shield. That could be a problem for us. But regardless, it doesn't look like much has changed. We're not looking at a bunch of new magic, a bunch of new abilities or anything like that. It's just the thick mass... right, of Yomi. So let's take a look at stuff real quick. Ko-Onis, we have 242 of those. These will die in about 2 or 3 turns to Foul Vapors. And then when they're in their ethereal form, they will not die to Foul Vapors. Kura-Onis won't die to Foul Vapors. Militia, they're dead to Foul Vapors. The Onis will die to Foul Vapors, and then in their ethereal form will not. The Whites won't die, there's only 2 of them. The Wolves will die to Foul Vapors or anything. The Bakamona shows, and this is actually kind of important, because there are 50 of them, they will die to Foul Vapors. The Ao-Oni will die to Foul Vapors until they are in their form. The Demon Priest will die to Foul Vapors. The High Priest will die to Foul Vapors. The Diones won't. The Demon Generals will, but then I believe... I don't remember if demon generals actually have a ethereal form or not. I don't think they do, so they should just die. Onishugo will not. The Shura will not. The werewolves won't because of regeneration. Probably. I mean, they could eventually, but they probably won't. Amano Jakus won't die to it. But about 80% of his forces, at least one form of them, will die to foul vapors. And the hope there is basically nothing has changed. The hope there is that that is going to allow us to crush him with the remaining magic that we have. So we are... we took Trackless Waste. There was absolutely nothing here. Well, I say absolutely nothing. There were this many leaderless Ko-Oni and Ao-Oni, so they immediately routed, and everything went fine. So simple, easy peasy. Okay. What are we doing? We're changing a couple things. Also, I'm smoking out my house because I have a pan in the oven. But we've got some fire gems, we've got some unrest, lost some gold, and we have completed the Palisades and Tesfon. Let's talk about what this turn actually is. This is probably going to be a quick turn, because not much is changing. We are moving some basic units around. We're moving basically our new Elshem. We are only a few turns away from having a second communion capable of utilizing Fog Warriors and other battlefield magic in That's a big deal. We will talk about what that might eventually end up being. We'll see. But realistically, what we're doing is we're summoning new or recruiting new sorceresses, recruiting new shamans, continuing to recruit in our capital. We're going to be doing way more crystal sorceresses now, though we have to be careful about their upkeep cost. And we are continuing to do a massive amount of forging, like what we have been. We are adding in a couple things to the mix. We're continuing to do more water bracelets, more boots of the messenger. We are going to add in a couple of headdresses of the bull here or there. This gives us very basic protection that we can put on our head protection that we can put on some of our more important leaders. And it also allows them a little bit more protection in assassinations because they'll have a buffalo with them. But it's also, if you think about it, we can, with our dwarven hammer, we can make headdresses of the buffalo, of the bull, for 3 gems. Okay? So let's multiply that by 10 just because it's a nice round number. So that's 30 gems for 10 headdresses of the bull. 10 headdresses of the bull in a battle would be 10 buffalo, right? Well, 30 gems at base for a buffalo, right? If we're thinking about these, it's 10 gems per herd, which is 5+. So if you're doing this at base, right? If you're doing this at nature 2, which we have been on a lot of different casts, you're only getting 15 buffalo out of this. So for 30 gems, you can have 15 buffalo, or you can have 10 respawning buffalo that you can't control or command or anything like that. Fair enough. But also some head protection. And some strength, actually. It's also a little bit of strength. So you're losing some, gaining some. There's pros and cons on both sides. It's not something that we want 30,000 of, and we want literally every single commander that we have to have it. But at the end of the day, if we had an army of, what was this, 6, 12, 18, 24... If we had 24 headdresses here, right, that would be sub 100 gems, and that'd be 24 respawning buffalo. I think we have 27 here. So that wouldn't be a terrible thing, you know? Again, that's not something I think that we're going to be doing consistently, because I think Boots of the Messenger and I think things like endless bags of wine are going to be more useful overall. But it's something that we're going to get a couple of just to add into the mix, okay? We're also doing another Thistle Mace. We're forging some bracers of protection for our Isham. I've kind of like gone back and forth on what I want to add to this thing. We're kitting it out way too much, way more than it needs. We're going to put a green dragon scale mail on it, purely because of morale, because I don't want to put a flesh eater on the thing. So we're going to have a firebrand, vine shield. Green dragon scale mail is going to bump him up to 21 morale, which is pretty decent, right? He'll still rout, but it'll be pretty hard for him to rout early in a fight. And if he gets surrounded and he routs, he'll still probably do like the take a lot with him type scenario. So we'll see how it goes. We're going to add probably the bracers of protection into the mix, just because whatever. I kind of just want to stop making stuff for him and not care anymore. But we'll see how it goes. So what else is happening? Honestly, other than us summoning some Yetis here in Perenna, because we've got enough water gems that I think I'm probably going to start doing that, at least for a little bit. Also, we're testing. So we've got... Yetis are 2 water, 1 air, 13 gems for 5 Yetis, but you get 1 additional Yeti for every 2 levels of the caster. I'm not sure if that counts water or if it counts air, so we're doing a little test here. We put some boosters on, and if we get 6 next turn, great. If we only get 5, then we know, oh, it's not counting water, it's counting... We'll see. Okay. Let's talk about the actual scenario. We're leaving behind Elder 9. I considered just holding up here and not moving. The problem is the Yomi player has been incredibly erratic on whether or not they take their turns, and what their game plan is. I don't know if they actually took their turn last turn, or if this was a predetermined move from the previous turn. I'm not sure. So we've got a lot riding on this battle, especially since whether I win or lose this battle, right? If I fight here in Delco, or we fight here in Trackless Wastes, or whatever, if we lose, even if we lose, we are likely to kill several hundred of his forces. However, that's probably going to be enough to have it to where Lanka does win against him, which means that Lanka would be the beneficiary of most of the stuff. So that's a problem, right? As it is, it already looks like Lanka is going to be the beneficiary of most of the good stuff, which is kind of a problem. So we want to win, and we want to win hard. There's not really a lot that we can change. We just have to... We were willing to take the fights previously. We have to be willing to take the fights now. So we're looking for the fight. I wish that we could stick around for Enchantment 7, so that we could Serpent's Blessing, and I feel like if we did that, we would have a significantly higher guarantee of what we're trying to accomplish. But can't do anything about that. I have changed up very little. The only thing that's really been added is Arrowfend is now in the Communion. Does Arrowfend even need to be in a... It technically doesn't need to be in a communion, but I'm going to leave it in a communion. I could just put some extra gems on a Gudu and have him cast, but I'm going to leave it in the communion because it should be just fine. Arrowfend is really just an added icing. The Ao-Onis, right? They do... Not the Ao-Onis. Who is it? The Oni Shugos. So the Oni Shugos throw flames and javelins. The Dai-Oni throw flames. I think... No. These guys throw flames. There's not many of them. Kuro-Onis throw flames. So there's enough here that are throwing javelins or throwing flames or throwing something that Arrowfend is going to be helpful, right? It's going to be useful. It's not going to be game breaking, right? It's not like we're going up against someone whose entire game plan is fucking, I don't know, fucking flame arrows or what have you, you know? But it's still going to be helpful, and that's basically, we're just trying to layer every additional option that we can. So that's about it. Fingers crossed. If we win, and we win hard, then we should be able to take a sizable portion of territory. I say sizable, 4 or 5 provinces, hash things out with Lanka, be like, here, you can keep the capital, let me take like Verdant Steppe or something like that at the very least, and go from there. That is assuming that Yomi fights. That Yomi either comes at me in Trackless Waste or stands and fights in Delka. It's possible. This is the other reason why I can't sit here. And I've considered sitting here. But because I really kind of wanted to get Serpent's Blessing. But if he decides to move into Ial and I don't move, then that's a big deal, right? Because he will be 2 provinces ahead of me, and he will be able to get to a fort and pop it in a single turn. This force can definitely pop pretty much any of my cities in a single turn. So, if I am behind him, if I'm nipping at his heels, then he's not going to be able to get away with that. But if I don't, if I hesitate for even a turn in taking the fight, then he could just trash my interior. So we're going to attack and hopefully have a big battle, hopefully win a big battle, and fingers crossed. If he does move, it's not horrendous for us, right? We are leaving behind an elder to see if we can't try to defend this place a little bit. I don't know if we're going to be able to. I'm not leaving anything here as a just in case. I don't care. I sure as shit don't care. We can lose Trackless Waste again. I would rather lose Trackless Waste than get my interior destroyed. So, it's gonna be a weird couple turns. But that being said, right, I still think that this army can handle his army. It's just a matter of actually catching it. And now we are actually building up to the point to where we're gonna have another big army. We're close to scenarios. For example, we're after Enchantment 7. We're probably just gonna make a mad run for Enchantment 8, right? Which is going to get us Frostfend. Frostfend is going to allow us to utilize Yetis with impunity. We already have 29 Yetis here. We are going to be recruiting... I don't know if we're going to do it like non-stop, but we're going to be recruiting Yetis here in Perenna. And they're gonna be excellent meat shields with something like... words, hard, brain, with stuff like Fog Warriors and Mass Protection, and later on in the game, Army of Lead or Army of Gold. And Mass regeneration. These guys are going to be really tough. They're already very strong. They're huge sacks of hit points, and if someone doesn't have resistance to cold or the ability to get it up, Yetis can screw you over, because they can just, like, this massive front line of Yetis will just fatigue out your front line while they're soaking up massive amounts of damage, etc., etc. So it is a concern for other people. I didn't talk about that. All right, sticks and stones are actually pretty cool. Anyways, that is probably going to be it for this turn. We're not changing off of enchantment. I do need to drop these water bracelets on someone, and I'm probably going to do some tweaking on Ishib scripting. But for the main focus of this turn, that's it. So, fingers crossed on our next big battle. We'll see how it goes. Bye, everybody.